Good evening to our colleagues in Moscow, and good morning to our colleagues in Washington and California. It is a pleasure for me to welcome each of you to today's unique event, the virtual signing of the Joint Protocol of the United States National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine and the Russian Academy of Sciences on cooperation in various fields of study concerning COVID-19. This protocol is an official addendum to the most recent version of the Inter-Academy Agreement between NASEM and the RAS, first signed in 1959. The present version, signed on March 12, 2019, will extend through 2023. Every 5 years, for over 6 decades, the leaders of our academies have gathered to reaffirm the importance of our cooperation. Just as the world today looks very different from that in March 2019, it is difficult to imagine the world situation in 2023 when the Inter-Academy Agreement will be extended once again. Through persistent efforts to apply what we learned from the extraordinary experiences of the COVID-19 pandemic, our academies and the global scientific community have the potential to prepare the world to respond powerfully and successfully to future public health crises. When NAS President Dr. Marcia McNutt and RAS President, Dr. Alexander Sergeyev, sign the protocol today, they will underscore the profound need for that knowledge and experience of science, engineering, and medicine to deal effectively with the urgent health crises our global community must confront. Just as the novel coronavirus knows no borders, neither should science, as this virtual signing ceremony demonstrates very clearly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hildebrand. Good morning to colleagues in Washington and in California, and good evening to our colleagues in Moscow. Sorry, I am not Yuri Balega. I am head of Department for International Cooperation, Vice President for International Cooperation. Yuri Balega right now on meeting and will be able only in the end of our conference, a little conference. But today, I want to say that I am happy to welcome all the participants at this landmark event, the signing of the joint protocol of the US National Academies of Science, Engineering and Medicine and the Russian Academy of Sciences on perhaps the main topic of cooperation today, interdisciplinary cooperation in the field of COVID-19. I completely support what was said by my colleague, Dr. Hildebrand, and I would like to emphasize the importance of the long-term cooperation between our academies. Our academies are unique in that they encompass numerous areas of research, from virology to mathematical modeling and physiology. This allows us to organize a multifaceted approach to research with indispensable at such a time. In March of this year, 15 academies of the world, including the Russia Academy of Sciences and US Academies of Science and Medicine, signed the joint statement of Academies of Science and Medicine, the critical need for international cooperation during COVID-19 pandemic. We fully support this statement about the critical importance of international cooperation and already working within the framework of this collaboration. Once again, I welcome, and we all welcome all those present, and give the floor to corresponding member of Russian Academy of Science, Fedor Vaitalovsky. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My name is Fedor Vaitalovsky. I'm Director of Institute of World Economy and International Relations of Russian Academy of Sciences. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to say a few words about history of our cooperation and our experience of dialogue between two academies. This cooperation has started in 1959. In the very dangerous phase of Cold War, when both sides were balancing on the brink of direct military confrontation and had a very deep political and military confrontation. So scientists on both sides decided to become ambassadors of peace and dialogue between two nations and two countries which had very complicated political, security, and ideological relations. This cooperation has developed through different spheres of science, including physics, energy, biology, and other branches, engineering and other branches of science. But I would like to focus my presentation on issues which are very significant for my own specialization and have been very significant for this cooperation in that time. First of all, on international security. Dialogue on international security started in 1960s between two academies, but in 1981 it had a very significant groove because situation in the world and Cold War has been escalating again, and we had missile crisis in Europe, we had direct confrontation and extreme groove of weapons of mass destruction on both sides. So in 1981, President of National Academy of Sciences of the United States and Philip Handler and President of Soviet Academy of Sciences, academician Alexander, made to decide on the development of this dialogue, which could include not only fundamental issues of science, but also issues of international security, arms control, prevention of incidents, and other aspects of international security. From the beginning, it has been dialogue on very high level. It has started in 1982 with the first meeting which has happened in the United States, and Soviet delegation has been led by academician Nikolai Nazemtsev, who has been director of Institute of World Economy and International Relations of Soviet Academy of Sciences. On American side, it was Marvin Goldberger, a very famous person who used to be Fermi student and president of Californian Technological Institute. Since that time till 2018, there have been 39 meetings of experts focused on different aspects of international security. They had special committees on different issues. And what is very significant for today's event, they had a special group on prevention on infectious disease, which has been working on such diseases as anthrax, pox, Ebola, and other very dangerous and infectious disease which have attracted attention on of scientists on both sides. So we are continuing this cooperation and dialogue, and I think it's a very special moment for both academies. History of this cooperation included dialogue which has been very strongly supported with such famous scientists as Wolfgang Panofsky, Evgeny Velekhev, Roald Segdeev, Yuri Osipyan, Nikolai Lavrov, John Haldren, Raymond Janlis. And I think that this protocol on COVID-19 will give us a new background for dialogue in the very complicated times in the relations between our two countries. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vitolovsky. Greetings to President Sergeyev and President McNutt. Hello to my esteemed colleagues of our academies, and welcome to all of you joining us today. I'm Rita Gunther, Senior Program Officer at the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine, and I'm honored to be with you as we witness the virtual signing of a joint protocol, which will become part of the Inter-Academy Agreement that has guided our cooperation for more than half a century. When a handful of visionary leaders of our academies gathered in Moscow in late October 1958, just as Dr. Vitolovsky has mentioned, they mutually identified several areas of science, engineering, and medicine around which to focus their work for subsequent years. That first agreement, and indeed all subsequent versions of the agreement since that first signing in 1958 for cooperation to begin in 1959, have covered a very broad spectrum of topics, ranging from physics to chemistry, from cosmic rays to nuclear security, from math and science education to climate change. Several topics identified in that first agreement proved to be rather prescient in identifying the following topics for collaboration: the synthesis of natural and biologically important compounds, microbiology and cytology, biochemistry, and among the most fortuitous from our perspective today, epidemiology and the control of influenza. In the intervening years, hundreds, if not thousands of people dedicated themselves to understanding how the world works and to applying that knowledge to making the world better, safer, and healthier. In the process, they came to understand one another better, not just as scientific professionals, but also as people. In this way, as they peered through the lenses of microscopes that revealed the contours of viruses and bacteria novel at that time, the critical importance of working side by side to resolve problems also revealed new and interesting opportunities for cooperation. International borders could no more stop scores of curious minds and committed people from our countries coming together than it could stop the natural phenomenon that they were studying. As diplomats in Washington and Moscow granted visas for scientific travel, generations of experts were practicing their own type of diplomacy, the common language of science. Today, the presidents of our academies are once again facilitating that common quest for knowledge, even as the urgency of the global pandemic of COVID-19 intensifies. Numerous ups and downs in relations, as Dr. Witolovsky has so eloquently recounted for us, between our countries did not prevent evidence-based, fact-based research and good old-fashioned hard work from proceeding. And today, our institutions, as well as the people who are serving in those institutions, once again commit to bringing together the best that science has to bear on the novel coronavirus challenge and many other challenges, among those that Dr. Witolovsky properly outlined. In the coming years, whether it be the persistent presence of influenza or another yet unknown virus, we stand ready to facilitate all types of inter-academy efforts as the next generation of scientists, engineers, and medical professionals engage in our urgent issues of today and tomorrow. Thank you.
Good morning to our colleagues in the United States and good evening in Moscow. We are starting the procedure of signing our protocol. First of all, I should say that we and our partners in the United States have done a lot of joint work on the draft of this protocol. And I would like to thank everyone who contributed to the development of this very important document. I welcome very much the readiness of our American colleagues to work together on one of the most important issues of our time. Around the world, the number of new cases of this disease continues to increase. The first wave of pandemic is still traveling over both our countries. But the mortality rate is gradually decreasing, and it is good news. In Russia, the disease incidence rate is decreasing, but not as fast as we would like. The fact that people are recovering suggests that immunity is accumulated both at the individual and herd immunity levels. But how long does it last? This is an open question for researchers. We still don't have adequate model of this disease, neither on individual nor at societal levels. And it should be developed by our researchers. Regarding medical treatment, also it is an open field for research, both for medicine and vaccines. We should note that both in the United States and in Russia, we are developing vaccines, and we are both at the third phase of clinical trials. The COVID pandemic has exacerbated all the pre-existing challenges of and actually dramatically accelerated change in politics, in economics, in technology and social processes. Leading Russian and American experts, as well as experts from other countries, offer various scenarios for the development of post-crisis economy. The main premise is still a forecast based on a global economic recession, a long way out of a deep crisis and a significant shift in global social values. That's why we have identified a wide range of areas of joint research, which will be described by my colleague, the President of National Academy of Sciences, Marsha McNutt, in her speech. Together with a wide range of scientific community, we aim to discuss projects and solutions directed at preserving human life and health and restoring the economy. I wish you, Dr. McNutt, and your colleagues good health and productive work. I believe that the United States and other countries will work together to overcome the current crisis, and we will use the lessons learned from this crisis to create our new, better, and bright future, of course, based on new scientific developments. Thank you for attention.
Well, thank you so much for those inspiring words, Academician Sergeyev. It's a pleasure to reconnect with you, despite it being only virtually. I enjoyed our first in-person meeting in Washington, D.C. on March 12, 2019, when we gathered together with the presidents of the U.S. National Academies of Engineering and Medicine to extend our inter-academy agreement through 2023. At that time, we agreed that our continued cooperation was vital to meeting the global challenges of the 21st century. Neither of us could have known at that time how critical our cooperation would be just a few short months after our meeting, when the novel coronavirus was circulating silently around the world to emerge as a global pandemic, COVID-19. In our two countries alone, President Sergeyev, as of Monday, according to Johns Hopkins University, there have been over 5 million cases and 160,000 deaths, representing 31% and 25% respectively of the global totals. These numbers represent individuals, families, and communities who are looking to us as experts to contribute all that we possibly can to stem the tide of still greater suffering. Beyond the immediate need to address the present pandemic, as the protocol we signed today states, quote, "We believe in the significant potential of and the essential need for Russian-American scientific cooperation in such fields as epidemiology, virology, molecular biology, infectious disease diagnostics, treatment and prevention, mathematical and computer modeling, social sciences related to societal and psychological effects of the pandemic, and global biological security." Over more than 60 years, together, we have addressed urgent needs and challenging frontiers of science for the betterment of our societies. And we have always done so by placing the highest standards of scientific rigor above politics. As we build upon this foundation, the NASEM and the RAS will intensify our efforts to fully draw on the tremendous talents and the energies of our country's most innovative young scientists, engineers, and medical professionals, as well as those who have years of invaluable experience to contribute. I look forward to learning from you and from the members and staff of our academies in the coming weeks and months about our progress towards realizing the potential of this cooperation by establishing a series of virtual meetings, an exchange of publications and other resources, and other longer-term efforts. I wish you, the members and staff of the Russian Academy of Sciences, and indeed all of the residents of the Russian Federation, good health, and when advisable, a safe transition from virtual meetings to greater in-person interaction, because I do miss the good fellowship when we can personally gather. So now I think we're on to our virtual signing of our agreement. So with our pens in hand, we may sign our agreement and seal our cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure for me to participate virtually in today's signing of the joint protocol. As Dr. McNutt just mentioned, when we all met in Washington in March 2019, few could have foreseen how events would unfold over the subsequent 18 months. As this protocol affirms, evidence-based and peer-reviewed assessments are the strongest foundations upon which to build efforts to reduce and stop the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic, to improve health outcomes for those who fall ill, and to increase testing capacity and the efficacy of diagnostic tests. We are pleased to have this opportunity to jointly face the complex challenges before us as scientific institutions, each with extensive networks of talented and capable experts. And we look forward to engaging these scientists, medical professionals, and engineers as soon as possible to begin our cooperation. Our own decades of experience under the Inter-Academy Agreement must be harnessed in a well-reasoned, yet rapidly responsive manner, for today's challenges are of the utmost urgency. Again, thank you very much.
Good morning. Good morning, our American colleagues. Good evening, our Russian colleagues. I am very glad to see everyone in good health. The challenges that we have today require more and more interaction between scientists from different countries, exchanges of experience in various directions of science, primarily in medicine, as well as the strengthening of ties between specialists in various fields in various directions. I think the signing of this protocol to be one of the most important measures taken jointly by our academies to combat in pandemic. This undoubtedly unless unites our efforts in search for more effective treatment, diagnostics, and prevention of dangerous diseases such as COVID-19. As a result of such close interaction and exchange of experience, we generate fresh ideas and new approaches enriching our knowledge in different fields of medical sciences. I have one example. It's a project on the preparation of the inhalable form of superoxide dismutase for COVID-19 treatment. Alexander Kabanov, the director of Center for Nanotechnology and Drug Delivery at the University of North Carolina, and corresponding member of Russian Academy of Sciences, has provided key input in initiation of this project in Russia, where we have clinically approved form, a recombinant superoxide dismutase. Scientists from the Department of Chemistry of the Lomonosov Moscow State University, the Department Nanobiotechnology of the Pirogov National Medical University, and the Federal Medical Biological Agency are taking part from the Russian side. It's planned that the remedy will be moved to clinical evaluation phase by the end of this year. I would like to congratulate all participants of this signing on the promising start of another important stage in the development on scientific Russian-American relations. And to wish all my colleagues great success in their plans to implement that project. Thank you very much.